Hi, Lance Walker at Michael Johnson Performance, and today we're using the PowerVibe Zen Pro 5900 to trick up a squat technique. And a lot of our athletes will use the squat to develop lower body power, even some neuromuscular strength. The idea being a better pattern, a more efficient pattern, reduces your risk of injury, but also enhances your ability to take that strength to the field and use it. One of the most faulty common patterns that we see with our squat techniques is an asymmetrical weight shift, and Coach Brian here is going to demonstrate one of the typical faults that we see with a lot of our youth athletes and even some of our professional athletes coming off of injury or long-term chronic type issues. Asymmetrical weight shift on a squat. This is typical back squat, and you can see Brian demonstrating what we see a lot of times is an asymmetrical or an aberrant weight shift to the left. And asymmetry is something we want to stay away from even in an unloaded pattern, but now loading that pattern with asymmetry is something we want to steer away from. So what we need to do is utilize the vibration technology to help upregulate the correct pattern to give him that confidence and give him some of that neural patterning that we can go ahead and dump load back on him and prepare the body for performance. So Brian now is going to come off and using the vibe, setting the vibe at 35 hertz. What I'm going to do as a coach is I'm going to provide a force pulling him into his compensation. In other words, replicating the exact same thing that he was doing there. And I can do it one of two ways. I can either do it manually with my hand on the hip, or I can also utilize a bungee, or something as simple as grabbing his shortened shirt and pulling him off to his left side. What I'm going to do in this particular example is just provide a counter force, pushing him farther into his compensation. Vibration is going to help us groove a new pattern, break through old patterns. And again, as he squats, I'm pushing him over into his poor pattern and then back out. And all the while, he's trying to be as symmetrical as possible and fight against this force pushing him into that pattern. Each time, with vibration allowing us to do this, I'm going to take less and less force into his hip to the point where now this squat pattern becomes much more symmetrical without the need for any kind of cueing for me as a coach. And now what we'll see is between sets, Brian will go back to that same squat, and typically with the use of vibration and some manual cueing or some band cueing, the pattern will be a lot more clean. We'll avoid some of those asymmetries. And again, it gives the nervous system a chance to be a bit more symmetrical with load. Vibe training with squat and asymmetrical weight shift correction.